Hi guys, what's up? I brought you all here today to share some thoughts with you as I approach 31 in December. It is October 2025 right now, and I wanted to just get some stuff off of the dome, talk about what I've been thinking lately, and honestly, you guys, like, I'm having a really rough time. I am approaching a stage in my life where I feel like the cage that I have been so convinced is a real cage is not actually a cage. And that is a crazy realization. I think a lot of people don't necessarily live with this idea that they are trapped, but I think a lot of us, especially people pleasers or people who have felt like they've had to shrink themselves or stay flat or stay invisible, have felt this way. For example, one major physical manifestation of this is my job, right? I've been at my job for 8 years or 7 years. Basically like the entirety of my 20s, guys, which is kind of crazy. And it's tricky, right? I was grandfathered in. My best friend's aunt asked if I could come in and file papers for 2 weeks, and then I was there, ended up being there for 7 years, obviously. Worked for a bunch of different people at the same company, had so many lives, and it really built a family there. And now I'm being faced with the idea that really I'm coming to an end. I'm coming to the end of this phase of my life, and this job is one of the core physical manifestations of that. Another thing is, I just want to switch fields entirely. I've been in corporate film for several years, and I've had an interest in entertainment, but it's never been as strong as it seems like it is for the people around me. It's never been my passion, I could say. I just was kind of grandfathered into it. My dad was in the industry. But now I'm realizing I want to be a nurse, or I want to at least use being a nurse as a way to stick my toe into the broader medical field and get exposure to what's going on. I'm starting to realize that I really hate the corporate world because we act like people are dying and they're not. I only want to act like people are dying if they're actually freaking dying, is what I realized. But obviously that's going to require me stripping everything back down to nothing and figuring out what the next step is. I mean, I just moved out of my parents' house like 9 months ago, and my lease is up in February, and I am debating not renewing it. And everyone's going to be like, well, you just moved in, Jordan, what happened? And I have to kind of tell people that, like, I don't know, dude, like, I just, I had to pivot. As good of a deal as I got on that apartment, it eats up half of my income. And on top of that, like, moving out of my parents' house, shockingly, I had no savings. People often think that automatically, if you live with your parents, you must be saving like a shit ton of money. But I think what a lot of people are scared to admit, and I'll come out and admit this, is that some of us do not use that time to save money, because essentially the money that we are getting through our job, we are spending on self-medicating and pacifying ourselves emotionally, especially if you feel like you are kind of the emotional thermostat of the house, if you know what I mean. If you feel like maybe your parents depend on you emotionally, your siblings depend on you emotionally, it can kind of feel like a little bit of a self-imposed prison in a way. And you'll do anything that you can to escape that and to feel better about yourself. Go out with friends, drink, spend money on Amazon, do all these mass purchases, spend money on pet supplies, like all this stuff, right? And I just didn't make any use of it, but it came to a head where I literally could not take it anymore, and I said, whether I have savings or no savings, I need to get out of here. And I did. I need to give myself a pat on the back for this, because 2 years ago, I couldn't have envisioned living alone, let alone in LA, right? Was born and raised in LA, so I couldn't have pictured myself like living alone. And I did, and I have to give myself a pat on the shoulder for that. But like, I just had to get out. But it wasn't 100% what I envisioned, right? I never got to fully furnish it to the extent that I wanted to, because I started to use it as a bit of a crash pad, where I would just come home and I would you know, just crashed. It was like a bachelorette pad. I never got a couch, never got a TV. I just came home and laid years and years and years of emotional exhaustion on the bed as soon as I got home, and that was all I could really do with it. So there's part of me that feels like maybe I gave up on the place, but the fact is I need to not be at this job by the end of the year. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. I just don't want to, like, hi baby, hi, how are you? Hi, go back to your mommy. Oh, that was so fucking cute. Oh my goodness, I love that. But anyways, so, oh, that cute little dachshund made me lose my train of thought. Yeah, essentially, like, regardless of how much I love my coworkers and how amazing my boss is, I feel like a pretty prison is still a prison. No leash feels long enough right now. And that is what I keep coming back to, no leash. I'm at the stage where I'm like, holy shit, I've been keeping myself in what feels like a prison my entire life. I've been keeping myself under the illusion that there are barriers that exist that don't actually exist. I've been taking, like, certain phrases, like, you need to leave your small town. Well, I don't live in a small town. I live in LA. Why would I need to leave? I can use the fact that I already live in a city that people flock to as a cover-up for not leaving and not getting myself out of my comfort zone. I'm in New York right now. If you guys can't tell, or at least you guys can tell that I'm on the East Coast visiting a cousin who moved out here a few years ago with her husband. We got some cute little turtles over there. So cute. But man, I love the third places out here. I felt like I needed to come out here. I barely have any money to come out here. I just paid rent. I just paid rent, and but I just felt like I had to come out here. I'm like, I need to reset. I need to really ground myself before I move into the next chapter. And this has been perfect. Sometimes I feel like the East Coast is kind of calling my name. Maybe that's kind of the leave the small town move that I need to make. But I guess I'm just realizing that I have not done anything, and I can reduce it to this. I haven't done anything kooky and crazy. I haven't made any big moves. And I don't know. I feel like I could have, and I don't want to say coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I'm really coming to the realization that I am still young. A lot of people, when they reach their 30s, they're like, I'm too old to do this. What I'm really realizing is I'm still young. What the hell are you doing? You're still young. What the hell are you doing? Is kind of the point that I'm getting to. So I don't know. I'm just thinking about a lot of things. Going back to the basics, feeling like maybe I'm regressing, but realizing that I'm not. In reality, I've learned a lot of things living alone, and taking that step. But I think I need to do something a little crazier. Number one, I need to get out of this industry that I've been in for years. That has become a bit of a comfort blanket for me. And do something that actually lights my heart on fire. And number two, I think I need to get out of this city. I need to get out of LA. I think a different city is calling my name. I mean, just sitting here, there's no third spaces in LA, I feel like. Just sitting here at Prospect Park, looking at the turtles, looking at the geese. Like the idea that it's like a big city with a little bit of nature mixed in. Like I can come out here and feel like I'm on the countryside, and then I can walk 300 feet and I'm back in the city again. I really like that. So I'm just opening my mind up to different possibilities, and I would love if you guys can just chime in, like anyone who feels the same way as me, who is in their late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, even late 30s, early 40s. Who the fuck cares? You know what? If you're still breathing and you want to start over, I would love to hear what you guys are up to and what you guys are coming to the realization of, what you guys or what you guys realize your cage was and how you want to break free of that, because that's what I am really going to try to do this upcoming year. 2025 has been an absolute shit show, and I just want to try something different. So if you guys want to follow me on this crazy journey, like and subscribe, comment if you feel called to, and I'll see you guys. Bye.